Hi, everyone. Andrea Lay here, Vice President of Strategy at IdeoClick, and Amazon and e-commerce enthusiast. I'm here today to deliver to you an updated set of predictions for Amazon.com for 2020 and beyond. Some of you may have seen my previous video earlier this year where we laid out a few predictions for Amazon and areas that they were going to be focusing on and businesses they were going to invest in. So much has happened so far this year with the worldwide pandemic that seemed like a good time to refresh and update some of those predictions. So here you go. Prediction number one. This is Amazon's moment for healthcare, and now is definitely the time. We're seeing a lot of increased demand for online prescriptions. GoodRx is filing for an IPO, which is kind of like a competitor to PillPack. TruePill just raised a bunch of money. So at least in the online pharmacy space, there's a lot of activity going on, a lot of demand heating up. So that's an area that they're going to continue to focus on. In addition, they're continuing to make advancements with PillPack. I don't know if this is telling of the aging demographic of their customer base, but they've launched a new feature that where they like sort the prescriptions for you and give you kind of pre-portioned packets of like what you're supposed to take every day. But they're making progress in a lot of other areas as well, not just online pharmacy. They're in the process of launching 20 new healthcare facilities across the United States. And right now it's mainly to serve employees. It sounds like it's created a little bit of tension with this Haven project that they've been working on with Berkshire Hathaway, because as they're trying to do a joint venture, they are also simultaneously launching their own healthcare for their own employees. But I think something they learned through this pandemic is that, as much as we would all like to believe that Amazon's so advanced and has robots running all of the warehouses, certainly they don't. It's people, and people matter, and we need to keep people healthy, and we need to take care of them. But like everything else, I mean, we had Amazon Fresh for probably about, at least a year or two in Seattle before it launched anywhere else, and it was for employees only. So they're going to test this on employees as a means to learn and gather data in order to, disrupt the healthcare industry in whatever fashion they see fit. I think there's been so much news about their retail business and their third-party business recently that we've kind of lost the point of some of their longer-term initiatives, and healthcare is certainly one of them. If you take a look at Crunchbase at the Alexa Fund, this is a little investment group they have within Amazon that invests in companies related to voice technology. They have invested in around 100 companies, some of them to the tune of several million dollars, and most of them are in the healthcare space, whether it's identifying symptoms based on your voice or appointment scheduling or records management, like all kinds of stuff that is going to be really incredible. And at the end of the day, they may even be able to use some of these facilities for COVID-19 vaccination and distribution, which would let them come out shining like a hero. Okay, so that's healthcare. Prediction number one, that healthcare is going to be an incredible focus for them over the coming year. Prediction number two is that Amazon's going to buy a fashion retailer. This is not a new prediction. I think I mentioned this earlier this year, but it is as if there is a flash sale going on for all of the department stores. With so many bankruptcies and so much turmoil in that space. And Retail Dive does a really great job of keeping a running list of all of the bankruptcies for the year. But I mean, there are some really incredible companies on this list, I think any of which Amazon would love to associate themselves with. From a fashion perspective, Neiman Marcus would be amazing for them. But JCPenney, I read somewhere they were in talks. I'm not really sure the direction they'll go with fashion and who they would look to buy. But I think originally we were all kind of thinking they would be looking at the sort of high-end fashion space, which would look more like a Neiman's. But I'm thinking more recently with the launch of a lot of their private label being in kind of that more like affordable space, that they might look at someone like a Kohl's. And Kohl's isn't filing for bankruptcy that I know of. But I think, looking at some of the tests they did with Kohl's about accepting in-store returns for Amazon packages and just, doing some experimenting there is an opportunity for Amazon to learn more about a retailer like that and see, if that would be a partner that would make sense for them. So I think they're definitely going to buy a fashion retailer. The last prediction, which I think is probably most important for all of the brand manufacturers who might be listening, is less strategic and more kind of tactical about your day-to-day, which is that Amazon is going to run out of space in Q4. On their earnings call, Olsavsky said, I'll read the quote, "Now as we move into Q3, we need to build the inventory more for Q4 and we've run out of space." So he said, we're running out of space. So we've got our hands full on that challenge, but we've got a really good team that's been working very hard, probably since late February, on this issue. So Amazon running out of space in Q4 is not a surprise. That happens every year. Orders are truncated, inbound shipments are prioritized. They've really got to focus on the products that make the most sense. But we've seen them focus a lot on, figuring out how to restrict seller inventory, sending out messages about storage fees, and just really kind of making it very painful for a seller if you have too much inventory sitting at Amazon. And we're already starting to see, for some of our manufacturers, orders starting to ramp up a little bit, kind of going into the fall. I think, what's really interesting to me is in their earnings release, they delivered on their online stores business an incremental 14 points of growth. And that's a lot of relative to the previous quarter's growth rate. And that's a lot of growth, but it's really not that much. It makes you realize how thin and how lean Amazon runs their inventory. And, we know that they're tending to keep around 2 to 3 weeks of cover in stock at any given point of time, and that they're super broad, and that equates to a lot of inventory. But I think we should be worried that they're gonna run out of space. They said they're already running out of space due to COVID-19 impact and shift of demand to online. So hold on to your hats, manufacturers, and get your inventory in early. So those are our updated 3 predictions for 2020 and beyond for Amazon. This is their moment in healthcare. We'll continue to see rapid expansion there. They're going to buy a fashion retailer, and they're going to run out of space. See you next time.